The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is a 2015 action-adventure movie directed by Guy Ritchie and starring Henry Cavill, Armie Hammer, and Alicia Vikander. Set in the Cold War during the 1960s, the story follows two spies, one an American and one a Russian, as they attempt to stop the remnants of the Nazis from building a nuclear bomb. To help them, they recruit Gabby, a mechanic who also happens to be the daughter of a kidnapped nuclear scientist. So this movie was directed by Guy Ritchie, who also directed the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr., along with the live-action Aladdin movie, and most recently, he released The Gentleman, starring Matthew McConaughey. Now, the one thing I'll say about all of his movies is that they are all incredibly well shot technically, and they are very stylish, very fun to watch. And this movie, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., is no exception. Let's just run through a bit of a lightning round of the things that are in this movie that I think really add to the flair and aesthetic of the movie. Number one, amazing cinematography, beautiful exterior shots, really cool interior shots, great creative uses of shots to keep scenes of people just talking really interesting and dynamic and moving. Really great production design in terms of period. This is set in the 1960s. We're getting wonderful clothing choices, cool vehicle choices, cool prop choices. The art direction is just spot on no matter where you look. Just overall, the movie looks tremendous. I mean, I can't fault anything about the choices he made. Everything just is tight and it feels really, really well crafted. So Guy Ritchie is really good at keeping the energy high, but he also pushes the style of things really, really far. One example is he uses a lot of these split screen techniques. There's a scene where a bunch of military guys are charging into a location, and we're just getting all these shots of all these military guys going through rooms and over walls and all sorts of stuff, and it looks really, really cool. The one problem I had with it is that it's used, like, I think 2 times, maybe 3 times in the whole movie. So it feels like a normal movie, and then all of a sudden we're getting these split screen crazy things going on. So I kind of wished they'd actually used it more. I wish they'd, interwoven it a bit better into the movie. But it's still cool when it shows up, and I have to appreciate it because doing that kind of stuff just takes so much work. My other big problem with the movie is a tough one to say because I'm kind of torn about this. It's the casting. Let's start with Armie Hammer, who plays this KGB agent spy character who is basically a blunt instrument. He's just a huge, strong dude, and he solves his problems with his fists, and he just, fights his way through every situation, and that's his character, and that's cool. He plays the character really well, totally buy it, no problems there. Then we have Henry Cavill, who's an American spy, and I think he's in the CIA, and he is supposed to be kind of a suave operator. He's like a thief, and he's intelligent, and he solves problems with his mind and with being crafty about situations and talking his way out of problems. The problem is that they cast Henry Cavill to play that character, and Henry Cavill plays Superman, dude. He's huge. Henry Cavill is a massive dude. He's massive. And so when you have Armie Hammer, who's supposed to be the really strong buff dude, and then you have Henry Cavill, who's supposed to be playing this kind of more intelligent, less strong dude, but Henry Cavill's physically larger, it really undercuts the ideas of the characters. Now, the reason I feel weird about this is because Henry Cavill does a tremendous job playing this really suave character, and I really like him in the role. But it doesn't serve the story very well because just the visual we're getting when we're seeing these two characters together, there's a big disconnect between the two. My other minor complaint about this movie is that the plot itself is kind of cliche. It's a pretty standard Cold War spy thriller. We've seen so many of these, and while the plot is pretty basic, it's kind of buoyed and it's helped by the fact that the production design is just so good. It's so well done that you can really forgive the basicness of the plot. I will say that there are a lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of unexpected, adjustments to characters and their positions in the story at any given moment a couple times throughout the movie, which help keep things really fresh and engaging and fun to watch. So they are aware of the fact that this is a pretty well-trod genre, and so they're doing their best to keep it interesting, and I think they succeeded in that endeavor overall. And with that, my final rating for The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is going to be an 8 out of 10. So I think a lot of people missed this movie when it came out a couple of years ago, and I honestly really recommend it. I mean, if you're a fan of the Mission Impossible style spy movies, this is going to be right up your alley, honestly. It has just way more flair. It takes itself a tiny bit less seriously, but it's so entertaining. Such great characters, such great production design. I can't imagine anybody would really dislike this movie at all. So, yeah, check this one out for sure. Thanks so much for watching my review of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. If you guys like the content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good one.